Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear friends. Today we are going to talk about South China Sea, which is very important, area in the South, you can say East Asia, and of course, there are many major powers and regional powers which are involved over this region, especially China. Of course, China control this region. So let me give you an overview of this particular area. So this is, nine dotted area claimed by China, and China, believe that all these nine dash line area belong to China. Whereas many countries in the region, they have got some, expansive claims, and some of them have got, smaller claims. कुछ जो है वो पूरे को रीजन को क्लेम करते हैं, जैसे ताइवान है, फॉर एग्जांपल वियतनाम है, बहुत सारे ज्यादा एरियाज को क्लेम करते हैं ना. So there are certain countries like Philippines, Brunei and Malaysia type की country जो छोटे छोटे claims हैं उनके on small islands. This region is very important as far as sea lanes of communications are concerned, natural resources are concerned, or you can say high fishing grounds are concerned. The other powers in the extra regional powers in this region are involved, like the United States of America, Japan. United States of America, let me tell you, they are stationed in Japan, Okinawa, and in next lecture we are going to cover that as well. So they support all those countries in Southeast Asia who are against China, for example, and who have got issues over South China Sea. So it's a mess going on in this region, and China is the dominant power in this region. China have got area denial strategy to counter any ingress in this region. So let's get started, and let's analyze this particular topic in detail in coming slides. So if we analyze, South China Sea's strategic location, it is situated between Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, which makes it very important region, as you can see in this map as well. So this is its location is very peculiar, and because of that, major supplies from Persian Gulf and other parts of the world, it passed through Strait of Malacca, then enters South China Sea, and then it goes to South Korea, Japan, and other countries. And these economies are definitely, they are trillion-dollar economies. For example, Japan is $5.8 trillion economy, and South Korea is also $1.5 trillion economy. So both these economies are well connected with the United States of America, and they are allies actually. So they are relying on this particular sea lanes of communication. So the location of South China Sea is, it is situated between Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean. So any traffic in between, it has to go pass through this region, and it has to pass through under the influence of China. So the area of South China Sea is about 3.4 million square kilometers. Which is made up of different small major, you can say, islands, and the main islands are the Parsley, Spartles, Pratas, then you got Zengu Mu Reef, Maxfield Bank, and Scarborough Shoal. So these are the main islands, and there are hundreds of islands in South China Sea. So it's a huge area. 3.4 million square kilometer area is a huge area. So Chinese, they claim that this whole area belongs to them. These islands are wholly or partially, as I told you before, claimed by China, of course. Vietnam, they also claim certain areas, जिसको हम आगे चल के discuss कर लेते हैं. Taiwan, अच्छा Taiwan आपके अपने आप को ROC कहता है, Republic of China, and they believe that we are the actually you can say Chinese, and the PRC, they are not the legal government, but PRC is accepted by the whole world, including the United States of America and many other powers. But Taiwan, it has got only accepted by few countries, 11 countries of Latin America and others who are unknown, and itne zyada wo popular nahi hai. But in reality, Pakistan's position is also such that we support Chinese position when it comes to Taiwan, and we don't accept Taiwan. Taiwan is part of PRC, but still, right now they claim that they are independent country, and that's why they claim South China Sea. The Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, they have got smaller claims. वो भी आगे चल के हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि किन किन एरियाज पे वो क्लेम करते हैं. So basically, China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, they claim larger chunk of South China Sea, and Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, they claim smaller areas. Um, so this was all about the strategic location of this particular area, South China Sea, which is important, sea lanes of communication. Let's quickly look at the claims of different countries. China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, as I told you, they claimed most of the areas of South China Sea. On the other hand, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei only claim small group of islands in South China Sea. The Philippines claims the western portion of Spratly Island and the Calayan Island group. So they claim these areas which are closer to their geographical proximity. So they claim those areas. China and Taiwan claim the entire region because, as I told you before, both countries both claim that we are the legitimate, Chinese power, political entity. Um, but of course, China is dominant because of its, position, economic position, strategic position, P5 status. So China is well connected in the world. And this overlapping of sovereignty has caused problems for members of the ASEAN region. So many countries, they claim that the exclusive economic zone area, particular area belongs to them, and that's why sometimes the Chinese maritime patrol boats, they patrol these areas and they cause problem with these countries in Southeast Asia. So let me tell you, China is an East Asia power. China is not Southeast Asia. But the problem of South China Sea is with the most of the Southeast Asian countries, as well as their biggest and closest superpower neighbor, China. So they have got problems with China, which is definitely they are the superpower in this region, and they are very dominant power in this region. They take their military into consideration, take their economy into consideration. They are the second largest economy, they are largest military power, and in this region they are the most powerful entity. Why this region is important? Strategic, why South China Sea is important?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. सर ये जो मेजर क्लेम्स वाली 3 कंट्रीज हैं सर, इनके आपस में ताल्लुकात कैसे हैं सर?
आपस में ताल्लुकात इनके नॉर्मली हैं. ताइवान है फॉर एग्जांपल, उसके साथ और वियतनाम के साथ इतनी ज्यादा इनके वर्किंग रिलेशनशिप है. They also have trade with Taiwan and Vietnam, but when it comes to good relationship, you can't call it a good relationship. China claims with Taiwan, तो एक उनका वो भी मसला है. जबकि जो वियतनाम है, that is also there. They have got cultivated good ties with the Americans and the Indians in this region to counter China. तो बस नॉर्मल ही है, कोई इतने खास वर्किंग रिलेशनशिप है सर. ठीक है, आगे चल के इसको डिस्कस करेंगे डिटेल में, सारे आंसर हो जाएंगे. Okay, so what is the importance of South China Sea? It is important for 3 main reasons. First, oil deposits and natural gas. Of course, this region possess huge amount of oil and gas, and as you know that Chinese, they are going to be the #1 economy by 2030, so they would require more and more resources. So wherever they find Afghanistan, Middle East, Central Asia, or in their own neighborhood, South China Sea, definitely they would try to grab these resources, and they are not going to let go. So there are estimates that this region possesses more than 150 billion barrels of oil, proven oil reserves in this region. And of course, the gas reserves are also there in trillion cubic feet. Secondly, this region is also rich fishing ground. 3.3 this area, as I told you before, this area is about 3.7 million square kilometer, which means it's a huge area. And of course, if it is a huge area, definitely it would be a rich fishing ground. And most of the economies in this region, they are also, you can say maritime nations, and they rely on the fishing. And fishing, this also play a very important role in the economy of a country. For example, Pakistan earned about $400 million last year because of the fishing. And Bangladesh, they have got established fishing industry, so they have earned more than $2 billion. हमारा क्योंकि ऑर्थोडॉक्स तरीके से हम फिशिंग करते हैं, तो that's why it's not that cool. Philippines, they are 5%. You can say their economy is relying on fishing. So that's why the fishing is also important for this region. The third and most important reason of the importance of the South China Sea is the that it is the very important sea lanes of communications, and most of the major oil tankers and cargo ships, they pass through this region. And if this region, if you can say half of the world's, you can say transportation and oil and gas and other things, it passed through this region. So which means if this region is disrupted, if this sea lanes of communication is disrupted by any power, so automatically the world economies would come down. So this is the importance of South China Sea, and it is world's busiest
Sir,
international
can you
sea
repeat the
lanes.
last point? I'm sorry, can you repeat the last point? Your voice got distorted. The
Okay.
last one about the SLOC.
Yes, sea lanes of communication. This is I was telling that this particular region is important because of the sea lanes of communications, and the most of the international trade, it passed through this region. The super tankers, like for example oil tankers and maritime other cargo ships, they pass through this particular region. If and 50% of the world's, you can say, super tanker traffic pass through this region. If this region is disrupted, automatically the world economy would come down. So this was the point I was making. And so as you can see in this map as well, that most of the oil and gas supplies, crude oil supplies from the Persian Gulf, which is about 10.4 million, you can say, million barrels of oil every day pass through this region. And as you can see, the African, 1.5 million barrels and others 0.9 million barrels of oil per day pass through Strait of Malacca, and from Strait of Malacca it goes through the South China Sea. So automatically, from this particular region, many economies of the region, they are dependent on this particular, you can say, sea lanes of communication. Like for example, Taiwan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Japan. All these economies, they are good friends of the United States of America, and they are connected with the U.S. economy. So any disruption of oil in this region, automatically it is going to impact on the US allies. And this is the reason that United States of America is directly involved in this region, and they are present in Japan to ensure that this region never gets disrupted. All right, if we divide this region, this region is mainly divided in four parts. And then you have got, these are the major islands, and then you've got hundreds of smaller islands which are also there scattered around this particular area. So mainly the Paracel Island, the Spratly, the Pratas, and Maxfield Banks, they are the four major, you can say, islands, and most of the countries, they have got dispute around these islands. For example, you can see this Pratas Island, it is close to Taiwan. Then you got Parcel Island, which is closer to Vietnam, and of course China is also claiming that. Spratly Island is also there, which has got Malaysians, and the Brunei, they have got some smaller claims over this island. And then you got Maxfield Island, where the Philippines, they have got some smaller claims on the Pratas Island and also on the Maxfield Island. So this is the division of this particular South China Sea. And as you can see in the dotted line, now this is the dotted line which is drawn by the Chinese, and the Chinese claim that this is the 9-dash line, and this area historically was part of China. So they claim that this is now part of China again. So but these countries like Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam, they have got exclusive economic zone areas. Like for example, 200 nautical mile area from their maritime boundary is the area where they can extract resources, and where they don't need any permission from the other countries. So there comes the clash, because the Chinese claim that this area belongs to them, और जब वो एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन वाली बात आ जाती है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली दीज कंट्रीज ट्राई टू एनक्रोच, जिसको चाइना काउंटर करने के लिए एग्रेसिव हो जाता है. एंड चाइनीज सेंड देयर मैरीटाइम बोट्स एंड मैरीटाइम वॉरशिप्स, और वहां पे जाके उनके नेवल वॉरशिप जाके उनके साथ बदमाशी करते हैं. All right, natural resources of China, South China Sea, they are also very important reason that the Chinese are so assertive because Chinese, of course, they are, as I told you before, that they are the second largest economy, and they are going to ensure that their oil supplies, are never disrupted. For example, they have seen, this disruption in the 1970s. So the exploration for oil in South China Sea began in 1973 during, the oil crisis, oil embargo by the Muslim countries when the, Arab-Israel war took place in the 70s. So because of that oil embargo, many economies in the world, the European economy especially, they suffered a huge setback because the Arab countries, they denied oil supplies to the Europeans. So during that period, the Chinese also started developing this particular region, South China Sea, and it is estimated that this particular region is, rich in oil and gas resources. For example, a Russian survey in 1905 estimated that the 6 billion barrels of oil might be located in Spratly Island only. So one island may, possess 6 billion barrels of oil. Apart from that, the Chinese offshore specialists have asserted that it could contain as much as 150 billion barrels of oil and natural gas. So which means it's a new Persian Gulf. और इसके बारे में बातें हो रही हैं कि जी it's a second Persian Gulf according to the Chinese media. ईरान के for example तकरीबन 150 billion barrels के करीब oil के reserves हैं. So which means that if if the Chinese, they get oil from this region, their reliance on the Persian Gulf would reduce. And now, right now, Chinese are importing oil from Central Asia. They are importing oil from African countries. They are importing oil from Middle Eastern countries, Saudis और ईरान वगैरह सबसे ले रहे हैं. लेकिन ये सारी इतनी लंबी सप्लाई लाइन है कि उनको बहुत लंबा रूट पड़ता है. So, लेकिन अगर साउथ चाइना सी से if they extract these resources, तो ऑटोमेटिकली ये शॉर्टेस्ट उनको पड़ेगा यहाँ से. तो उनका रिलायंस जो है वो दूसरे मुल्कों से कम हो जाएगा. So this is also one of the most important thing which is there. If you look at the other important thing, as compared to Suez Canal, 3 times more oil and liquefied LNG, liquefied natural gas is transported through South China Sea. तो स्विस कैनाल से भी ज्यादा इसकी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट जो है ना उसकी सिग्निफिकेंस है. 15 times more than that of Panama Canal. Panama Canal is another sea lanes of communication, another choke point which is there in the on the sea. So that is also important. So majority of this crude oil comes from Persian Gulf, and it is bound for Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. And all these 3 economies, as I told you before, they are well connected with the US, and they are actually the US allies, and US directly and indirectly support these economies. और ये तकरीबन मिला कर तीनों की, जापान की तकरीबन मैंने आपको बताया कि 5.8 ट्रिलियन डॉलर इकोनॉमी, South Korea is 1.5 trillion dollar economy, and Taiwan is also $500 billion economy. So collectively these economies are closer to we can say 6 or 7 trillion dollars. So automatically इतने बड़े लेवल पे जब ये हो रही हैं चीजें, so automatically this region holds very important significance. So oil and gas की point of view से this region holds significance. Moreover, the region is also, an importer supplier of LNG. About 2/3 of the Korean and 60% of the Japanese and Taiwanese LNG supplies, it flow through this critical region. So imagine करें आप कि अगर China disrupt करता है इस supply को कल को, so that would be devastating for these economies. So this is the reason that the United States of America has taken it seriously, and they are stationed in this region, in Japan, in East Asia, ताकि ये जो supply route है इसको कभी भी China disrupt ना कर सके. So most of the LNG supplied by Indonesia and the South China Sea producers, with the Middle Eastern shipments from Abu Dhabi and Qatar, also passes through this region. So as a whole, according to different estimates, this region is very important. Achha. Now let's quickly look at the historical significance of this region. Strategically, this region has been of enormous significance. For example, the Japanese, they also carried out invasion of Southeast Asia, of Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines, from this area, through this area, and they colonized these countries for many years. They also launched attack on the Chinese from this area. So it was utilized, of course, by the US Navy as well, when they carried out attack against Iraq and Vietnam war. So this region has been a crucial, you can say, historically also it has been crucial sea lanes of communication from where military you can say operations were also carried out by the United States of America, by Japan, major powers like that. So that is the position of this region. China is the second biggest, you can say, economy in the world, and of course, their energy demand is increasing day by day. So automatically, they are not going to let go this area, and so that is the reason that they are very strictly, you can say, pursuing their foreign policy over this region. This region is, contiguous to the strategic Cam Ranh Bay. This is Cam Ranh Bay is an area which is closer to Vietnam, and which is, supposed to be one of the best natural deep water harbors in Southeast Asia. It is strategically located close to these disputed islands and the disputed waters. As you can see in this picture, Cam Ranh Bay area, as the arrow shows, it is close to Vietnam, and it is very, important for Vietnamese. But because of the exclusive economic zone, areas, and they are open to South China Sea, of course. So यहाँ पे आके इनके ताइवान की, सॉरी, वियतनाम की और चाइना की आपस में थोड़ी सी खटपट हो जाती है. Let's quickly look at the role of major powers in this region, and what is the role of major powers in this region historically and now. Major powers in the previously, as I told you before, Japan, when it was imperial power, they attacked this region and they colonized most parts of this region. Apart from Japan, United States of America carried out attack in, they um, they were present there in Vietnam, and they fought a guerrilla war for 2 decades almost. And after losing about 58,000 soldiers, they left this region. So they were also present in this region. When they carried out an attack against Iraq in 92, so they used this region for the supply route, as a supply route. Now, soon after the Americans left Vietnam, so the Russians, they came to this region and they, leased this area, especially in Vietnam. Because the Russians and the Chinese, as you all know, that they played a very important role in kicking Americans out from this region. So they supported the guerrilla warfare in Vietnam. They supported Viet Cong guerrillas with the support of Laos and Cambodia, which are also Southeast Asian countries. So ultimately, when the Americans left this region, the Russians took over, and Russian came to Vietnam, and they had this base until 2002. So finally, they also left this base in 2002. Since then, the base has been lying empty. The Vietnamese Navy has a small base. They are in no comparison with the Chinese. They can't compete with China unless or until they get support from the United States of America. And last year, the Vietnamese Prime Minister announced plans to open up the base, for foreign navies on a commercial basis. So maybe the Chinese, the Indians, they are also interested in Vietnam. The Americans, they are interested. So there is a distinct possibility that the Americans or the Indians, they may, control this particular base, which is very important base when it comes to, keeping an eye on the sea lanes of communication. So it further plans to lease out the base to different navies rather than one. So which means that different countries, major powers, would have a base in Vietnam. So automatically, when major powers are involved in this region and they are patrolling this region, so automatically China may face a little pressure. So natural resources, as I told you before, that the South China Sea possesses huge amount of oil and gas resources, and these resources are scattered around, like for example in Brunei, Sabah Basin area. Then you got Nam Kamsan Basin, which is in Vietnam, and then you got Sarawak Basin in Indonesia, and Malapaya in Philippines. So these are some of the areas where most of the resources, natural resources, are concentrated. Like for example, this is the Sabah region, which is closer to Brunei and Malaysia. So South China Sea, China is very dominant power in this region. And in 2009, China became the second largest consumer of oil after the United States of America. So automatically, the Chinese, they are aiming to control this region without any problem. So their demand for oil and gas would increase in coming years, because they are growing fastly, and they would require more and more resources. So that's the simple, you can say reason that the Chinese will never ever compromise over South China Sea. So automatically, currently 80% of the oil it imports from Middle East, and as we all know that Middle East, it has always been in crisis. Sometime it is ISIS which has disrupted many times oil supply. Sometimes it is sanctions on Iran, which has again disrupted, supplies, and sometimes it is the Iran and Saudi Arabia clash, which may disrupt the oil supplies. So these are some of the issues which are there. Just give me 1 minute. I got a call. Maybe. Ji, Assalamu alaikum. Guys, just give me 5 minutes. I'll be back. तो एक मेरे हाथ से कुरियर वाला आया, मैं उससे जरा सामान पकड़ के लाता हूँ. You can have a break for 5 or 10 minutes. उसके बाद फिर resume करते हैं इसको, ठीक है? I'll be back. Okay.
Okay.
ओके, मेरे ख्याल इसका लिंक खत्म हो रहा है, तो आई शेयर द लिंक अगेन.